Hello everybody and welcome to our gorgeous rooftop pool terrace here that we only could afford, right, if it was paid for by some random stranger. That's probably what a lot of the comments down below are going to be saying and have been saying for quite some time, for some reason, ever since we arrived in China and started our China series. Now, we decided to make this video just basically to answer some of these weird allegations that have been made against us. We've been traveling now and we've been on the road for around 3 years. We visited a lot of different countries, in fact tons of countries. A lot of them are not even on camera. We've traveled through tons of land borders. We've been on probably 100 or so flights at least by now, and we have extensively covered many different countries. And funnily enough, all throughout all of the countries that we've covered so far on our journey here on YouTube, we have never been accused of being paid off or being paid shills for any of these countries, like Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, anywhere. Even countries like Turkey, for example, that has a lot of opposition against it, we were never accused of being spies or being paid off by those particular governments. So we actually made, funnily enough, a little bit of a list here that we're going to go through and just sort of honestly answer, and we have proof for absolutely everything that we're talking about today, and we thought you guys that support us might find this a little bit interesting as well. So I suppose the first thing that is probably the most common and has popped up so many times in our comments is, who paid for us to go to China? I'll let Naomi answer.
Oh yeah, who paid for us to do the trip to China? And the funny thing is, and totally unexpected, we did.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, oh no.
Whoever could have thought that two people who are over the age of 30 can afford to travel and have been traveling on their own money for the last 3 years.
Yes, actually, we have been putting quite a large stack of money into this channel over the past 3 years. Of course, we also got a lot out of it in terms of enjoyment and experience and so on. But overall, I want to say that we are probably making like just about zero at the moment. Of course, our earnings on YouTube are increasing with the amount of subscribers that we're getting, with the amount of clicks that we're getting, and so on. But overall, if you would like to calculate the last 3 years, we have probably actually been spending more money than we have been making. And I have to say as well, not right now in terms of being in China, but just sorry, there's something on the side, but just like in general, I have actually been freelancing quite a lot to even sustain our travels, to support the travels and so on. So yeah, we have been saving up money for, in total, probably 5 years, putting every single cent aside that we can, and then making the travel happening that way, not by a third party.
Yeah, so we've been at this, like I said, guys, 3 years running. We had started this YouTube channel, believe it or not, on April Fools in 2021. And for the first 2 years of running this channel, we made quite literally €0. Yes, we generated some money here and there through ad revenue, but in terms of what we were spending and what we still are spending, we just about broke even. In fact, I think we lost money for the first 2.5 years of our travel. Only really in the last couple of months have we actually started to see some slight amount of money. And it's really funny because we get a lot of comments sometimes from random YouTubers or random other people saying that we do this for money. It couldn't be any further from what the reality of it actually is. We've made very small margin, if any, over the last 3 years of doing this, and it has been an incredibly stressful but emotionally and spiritually very rewarding
Just to add there as well, we have been taking on nearly no sponsorships at all, which you can also see in our sponsored content. If we ever do put a sponsored video out there, it's usually because we use the product anyway, or we really truly believe in the product, and we're not just putting on every single sponsorship just for the sake of making money, basically, which is again why I am freelancing on the side and why we are trying to put in the extra amount of work basically to keep this going, and also to keep our faces and be able to say whatever we want to say online basically, because obviously if you are sponsored by somebody, you cannot say what you actually think, and that's not the position that we would want to be in.
Yeah, for sure. So we will obviously flash up everything, guys, in terms of proof. We paid just under €1,000 in terms of accommodation and trains to get around China. We also shoveled out a ton of money in terms of daily food expenditure. We paid for all of our trips. We also covered our flight expenses there and back out of China. All of that is readily available and easily available for anybody that wants to sort of make those allegations. Now, in terms of creating like positive propaganda for a specific country, such as we have been allegated against so many times in the comments down below that we're just doing this to create some sort of a propaganda, that's also equally hilarious, because we have the exact same approach with every country that we've ever visited all throughout the last 3 years of our channel. We arrive in a country, we film the arrival of when we come into the country. We typically film the airport. We film everything from start all the way up to the accommodation. We check in, we go out and meet people, we have food, we turn on the camera, and that is literally it. If something negative happens, we talk about it. If something positive happens, we share it. If there's trash everywhere, we are going to show it. If there's not trash everywhere, we are going to show that as well. So what we're trying to say is we are just showing what's in front of our camera. We don't care whether or not you behind the camera enjoy it. Of course we care if you enjoy watching the video, but if I turn this camera around and this pool is full of black, muddy, basically piss water, that's what's going to be on camera. We're not going to edit it out, and I'm sorry if you don't like it. That's just the unfortunate reality of traveling in a lot of countries. It's not going to be always the best. Sometimes you'll have negative interactions. We had a run-in with someone who scammed us, blatantly was trying to scam us on camera, and we blasted it. We put it on our video, we put it up. The video went pretty much viral. And to be honest, we don't mind that, because we're just trying to share what the reality of full-time travel is. So in terms of us creating propaganda or having a bias or anything like that, we have absolutely zero bias. We're literally traveling the world to understand and to get to know new cultures.
And while we receive a lot of comments saying that we are creating propaganda, we receive a similar amount of comments that are saying that we are spies for the West. So make a decision please in the comments. Either we are creating propaganda or we are spies, but we cannot do both. I
Can't
think.
do both.
I mean, maybe we are double spies for both countries.
I'm the one that's spying and she's the propaganda maker.
Okay. So we're gonna go 50-50 here on this one?
Yep.
No. Also, this is not the case, of course. I left my country, I left Germany actually in January of 2019, and I decided to never live in Germany ever again, which is why I moved to Ireland, and then now we are traveling, and Luke has a similar story behind him,
left
with Ireland.
I left Europe because it is absolutely disgusting there.
Yeah, so we don't really identify with European people, European values and so on anymore, of course, to a certain extent, because we were raised in those societies, those norms, Christian norms and so on. It's still, of course, you cannot put that aside, that's the way you were raised. But yeah, we're not planning on going back anytime soon, so I don't think you can even say realistically that we are spies at all, because I'm basically speaking so little German that I'm currently unlearning how to speak German.
And as well, we absolutely hate that part of the world.
Yeah.
So, sorry, not sorry. Another allegation that has been made against us a lot is the tourists around us are fake. And it's a fake environment that we're vlogging in China, and that the bullet trains are usually empty. That is one of the strangest things that we ever read, and we read that quite a bit. We made a couple different supermarket videos and vlogs. We also made like maybe 2 or 3 bullet train videos where we get on the train, and it's a really incredible how strongly built the railway system is in China. Do you really think that they have the ability to set up an entire railway system just because we're there? I don't understand what reality that is in. Also, we showed many times the railway stations that had literally like 100,000 people in them. All of them getting on the train to travel to different parts of the country freely. So that weird like thing of that the whole thing is like a movie set, that's genuinely on the same level of intelligence as someone saying that the earth is flat. It doesn't make sense. There's no understanding behind that one. Like, I understand someone trying to say that we're making some propaganda or whatever if we're being positive. There's like, if you make that allegation and you don't know the full context of what we're doing, it's understandable that you might come from that angle and you might be accusatory in that way. But in terms of saying that an entire country of over 1 billion people is just made up so tourists enjoy themselves, that's really stupid.
But maybe it's just a green screen, you know, we put enough budget into our filming budget that is basically, our filming budget is this DJI 4. Yeah. That's our filming budget. But we put enough budget aside just to film everything in the studio, and the buildings are fake, it's made out of plastic, and the train isn't real, and I don't know, we're just driving in a room, like just doing this to show that we're moving, basically. No. Yeah. That's a very, very strange allegation. And also, like, that's something that we have heard for the very, very first time on our channel. In no other video ever had somebody ever said something like that. We have been taking bullet trains all around the world, and nobody ever said, "Oh, that's a fake bullet train." Like, how do you make a bullet train fake? I don't really understand it up to this day. And to talk about the empty supermarkets, a lot of people have been saying on, I believe it was our Walmart video and then the other Chinese supermarket that we went to, I don't remember the brand, I'm sorry, that it was very empty, and that basically just high-ranking members of society are allowed to go to supermarkets, which is
crazy.
Absolutely incorrect. One thing that you have to take into the equation is that we usually go to supermarkets when other people don't go to supermarkets. So maybe at Monday at 10 a.m. in the morning when nobody is around, because if the supermarket was full, it would really, we couldn't show you around anyway. And the other thing is, in the majority of Asian countries, well, Southeast Asian, some countries, and definitely the East Asian countries, everything in terms of supermarket, grocery shopping, just general shopping is online. So depending on where you are just going to literally open an app like Grab or something like that, and you're going to put in what shopping you want, and then it's going to get delivered to your house. Nobody has time these days to go to supermarkets. So that's the case for China as well.
Yeah, in terms of the supermarket being empty, like it's a lot more advanced than you might think it is. It's a lot more advanced actually in China than it is in Central and Western Europe, for example. If you go to a supermarket in Ireland, in Dublin, it will be packed full of people, because Ireland is a very backwards country, even though it likes to consider itself as one of the leaders in Europe, or as one of the sort of leading countries in terms of development and growth, when in reality the capital city is falling apart. There's homeless people littered all over the streets. People can't afford housing. People can't afford to feed themselves. The government has completely turned a blind eye to all of it. And people then in Ireland genuinely will look at other countries like Thailand, like China, like Japan, like Korea, like pretty much anywhere in Asia, or even over in places like South America, and then they'll point the finger over at them and say they're the problem, they're the bad ones, they're doing things incorrectly, when in reality, from our travels and from our experience so far, and in my totally honest opinion, this side of the world is doing things a lot better at the moment than the West is. And that says a lot, because a lot of the world's inspiration, unfortunately, comes from a lot of what the West is doing. But since we arrived in Asia, we've realized they don't really take any inspiration from that part of the world. America is absolutely not number one anymore. I genuinely believed, like I said before in a video of ours, I genuinely have always believed that America was the leading force in terms of government, in terms of military, in terms of influence over the free world or over the modern world. And after traveling for the last 3 years and getting my mind more and more expanded and understanding different cultures, I'm realizing more and more just how caveman-like a lot of societies like America and unfortunately like Europe still are to this day, and it's pretty sad.
You also always have to take into consideration that just because you don't understand something or I don't understand something because I'm coming from a European perspective doesn't mean that it's worse or negative. Just because you are using Instagram or YouTube or whatever doesn't mean that your next door neighbor that is from a different culture, from a different background, from a different society has to use the same platforms. So I've been talking about this as well in one of our other videos. Just because it's different doesn't mean that it's bad or that it's worse off or that it's negative or whatever. You just need to take your time. If you're actually interested in talking about the topic in an educated way, you need to take a little bit of time out of your day and understand that specific culture and that specific approach. And then you can talk about it. But I mean, you can always talk about it. I'm not the one who's gonna limit your speech or whatever, but like, just educate yourself a little bit before saying random things online that is definitely not true. That is also going to influence the other person that is going to read the comments. That might be a 13-year-old boy somewhere in America that's just going to read, oh, China is X, you know, whatever it might be. And it's just not the case. Just go there, have a look for yourself or educate yourself online, and you're gonna understand relatively quickly what is the case and what is not the case. And don't just consume Western perspectives. You have to also consume Eastern perspectives or whatever perspective that can broaden your mind.
100%. And one thing that I'll say, just to sort of put a wrap to this, countries and societies all throughout history have been built by people. Yes, a lot of governments have done a lot of things. A lot of government actions and a lot of government things have also totally destroyed many countries. So what I will say is, the thing that makes countries great are the people that live in those countries, not the people ruling those countries. And that's what we look for when we travel. When we arrive at a country, oh my god, I think we're about to be in a storm here.
I think it might be starting to rain now.
When we arrive in a country, what we look for is the people. We try to interact with them, the common working class people. And if those people are welcoming, which they were in China and still are in China, we think it's a great country. It's the same for Indonesia, it's the same for Thailand, it's the same for Mexico. If we encounter bad people, we will let you guys know. But it's a nice place. People are very welcoming, and generally we have had positive experiences. And now we're preparing for a massive trip over to Guangdong and Yunnan. We're going to be exploring deep into the real China. So I hope you guys are going to join us for that. Over the next couple of months, we'll be exploring the real China.
I'm so excited as well to finally see the countryside of China. I cannot wait, because obviously we've seen the city side, we've seen the Sichuan side. Now it's time for a different side. Let's do it.
Yes. But before we get basically carried away by a thunderstorm that's going to take us off of our posh luxury $25 a night place.
Sorry.
My name is Luke.
My name is Naomi.
We are the two mad explorers.
And this is your reminder to keep exploring.
See you guys in the next China adventure.
Shishi for watching.
Shishi.
Bye bye.
Bye. Oh my god, how can they afford such luxury? Oh, they must be paid shills.